vi egentlig tidløse? Eksisterer selve jeget i et evig nå? Et evig øyeblikk? Hvor alt i den fysiske verden renner forbi i tidens elv. Livet passerer, har en begynnelse og en slutt. Mens jeget bare er.
We don't die. We are eternal beings on an infinite journey. It's just life in transition. It never stops. It transforms.
Vi har fremdeles ikke noe klart vitenskapelig svar på hva som skjer med den ikke-fysiske delen av oss når kroppen dør. Men stadig flere rapporterer om opplevelser som kan tolkes som om det er en fortsettelse av bevisstheten. For familien Medhus tok deres forhold til døden en brå vending, da den 20 år gamle sønnen Erik tok sitt eget liv i familiens hjem i Houston, Texas i 2009.
Eric killed himself by a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And it was excruciatingly painful because I was the first one to see him, that lifeless body. But then 3 days after, my atheist father called me startled. He said he had seen Eric standing in front of him, and then Eric crawled into his lap as a small child, and my father called me in a panic. And so that led me to think, my father's an atheist. He saw Eric. Maybe there is something beyond. And after those days, Eric started to communicate with us. He started to play various pranks and show himself to us. For example, one thing he did was, when I went to bed, and I wasn't even asleep, I just laid my head on the pillow, and all of a sudden I saw him jumping at the foot of my bed from one side to the other like a bunny rabbit. And I was watching. It was so surreal. I was following him from the left to the right to the left, and then suddenly he looks at me and says, "Mom, you see me." And he flew into my arms, and we hugged, such a nice hug. And then he was gone. Then the pranks started coming. Eric would give us so many signs and other forms of communication. For example, he'd turn on water faucets. We watched them turn on. He would turn deadbolts. He would make appliances work that were unplugged.
And what was going on here, I analyze financial data and such on a daily basis. So I became very fascinated with this and analyzed it as I would do in any balance sheet and financial information, and came to the undeniable conclusion that there is more than meets the eye.
Dette et av mange tilfeller der rasjonelle mennesker hevder å ha en slags kontakt med avdøde personer. På samme måte som mange hevder å ha vært over dødens terskel i såkalte nær-døden-opplevelser.
Så går jeg ut, og jeg går ut av panna og opp i taket, og ligger og ser ned på hva som skjer. Og det så stille. Alt så rart, det så stille. Jeg vet ikke, kanskje det sånn som å gå ut av tiden, jeg vet ikke. Det var helt stille. Og jeg lå i taket og så på kroppen min som leppene var blå, men jeg hørte, selv om det var så stille, så de snakket snakket, og de løp rundt, og det var ene sykepleiersøstra ropte, det er noe galt med pasienten, det er noe galt med pasienten. Og de andre sa nei da, hun har kanskje bare fått en sånn illebefinnende i forhold til operasjon, det ordner seg, det her går bra. Og så hørte ikke hun på han legen og på de andre som var der. Hun som sa det, at det er noe galt med pasienten, hun løp ut. Og så lukte hun opp døra. Og i det hun lukker opp døra, så kan jeg se organene hennes. Jeg så hjertet, lungene, og de farvene som var rundt lungene, og hjertekamrene, og nyrene, og levra så jeg. For det var sånn spesiell blåfarge rundt alle organene. Men hvorfor skulle jeg se organene i et menneske? Men jeg var kjempeforvirret. Og så lå jeg i taket, og så tenkte jeg kan ikke ligge i taket, jeg må jo være i kroppen. Så jeg prøvde å kjempe for å komme meg ned i kroppen igjen. Men klarte det ikke. Men det skjedde noe på bevegelsesnivået når jeg skulle kjempe meg ned. For med en gang jeg slapp den kampfølelsen, så fløt jeg i taket på en annen måte enn når jeg skulle kjempe meg ned tilbake. Men i hvert fall, jeg skulle ha en operasjon for ikke å få flere barn også, for at jeg ville ta så godt vare på de barna jeg hadde. Og så var jeg i ferd med å dø ifra dem.
Legen på sykehuset kunne bekrefte at Elinor hadde vært borte i 19 minutter, uten at det var registrert tegn til liv. I boken sin forteller hun at det tok lang tid før hun var fullt restituert, etter skadene som hun fikk som resultat av langvarig oksygenmangel. Men hennes tilfelle er ikke unikt. Det føyer seg inn i rekken av tusenvis av lignende tilfeller.
Experiments have shown evidences that our brains do shut down. Our entire body really does die in these experiences, and yet our consciousness remains lucid. Our consciousness remains experiencing. And if our consciousness was just held within the brain, then the evidence that's emerging is that near-death experiences just couldn't happen. And they do. They do to a huge number of people.
Den amerikanske forskeren og forfatteren PMH Atwater, som selv har erfaringer med døden ved 3 anledninger av hjertestans, har samlet et materiale med over 4000 tilfeller av nær-døden-opplevelser.
What we know now through research is 4 to 5% of the population will have a near-death experience or has already had one. I'm talking globally here, so it doesn't matter the country. 4 to 5% has already had or will have a near-death experience. In an emergency situation or a crisis, the figure there is about 12 to 20% of those.
The cancer continued to spread throughout my body. It spread throughout my lymphatic system. And by the time I was ready to accept chemotherapy, the doctors had said it was too late. They said I basically only had 3 months to live. And at this point, what had happened was that the cancer had spread from the base of my skull. I had tumors the size of lemons all around my neck, under my arms, my chest, all the way down to my abdomen. I had open skin lesions, like my skin had just opened up, and these big wounds had just opened up. And my muscles were completely wasted away. I was like a skeleton. I couldn't use my legs at all because the muscles were wasted away. I couldn't walk. I was either in a wheelchair or lying down. I was so weak, I couldn't even lift my head up. My head was always down like that. And I was breathing with the aid of an oxygen tank. I couldn't breathe unaided. And my lungs were filled with fluid. And I was constantly going to to the hospital for them to drain the fluid from my lungs or to get blood transfusions and so on. So I was always in and out of hospital. Finally, on the morning of February the 2nd, 2006, I'd had the cancer for 4 years now. I fell into a coma. I was being cared for at home, and my husband called our doctor, and our doctor told him to rush me to the hospital where he would have a team of specialists waiting to see us. When I arrived at the hospital in a coma, the first thing the doctor said to my husband was that my organs had now shut down and these were my final hours. They said I wasn't even going to make it through the night. Unbeknownst to everyone around me, it appeared that I was in a coma, but I was actually aware of everything. But more importantly, I actually felt incredible. It was like I felt healed. I felt so light, and the pain was gone. The fear was gone. Everything, it was just gone. I just felt really amazing, and I don't remember ever feeling like that before. And I just had this incredible state of clarity in that realm. Everything was so clear. It was like I understood everything. It was like I was part of everything. I could feel the emotions of my husband, of my mother. I was aware that my brother was in another country, getting on an airplane to come and see me. It was like my consciousness, my awareness was expanding well beyond not just my body, but well beyond the room my body was in, well beyond the hospital. I could hear all the conversations of the doctors and nurses down the corridor, but beyond that. And then I became aware of my father, who had passed away 10 years prior. During our lifetime, I had not had a wonderful relationship with my father. But in this realm, all I felt from my father was incredible, unconditional love. And I just had this incredible understanding of how in life, how we have all these layers and layers of filters that get in the way of us feeling this love or this realization of how amazing and magnificent we truly are at our core. And I also understood what caused my cancer. I understood how every decision that I had made during my lifetime up to that point in time led me to being there, lying on the hospital bed in that moment. And I completely understood. It was like everything made sense.
Den amerikanske hjernekirurgen Dr. Ibn Alexander fikk stor oppmerksomhet da han overlevde en dødelig aggressiv hjernehinnebetennelse etter 7 døgn i koma. Men det virkelig oppsiktsvekkende var at han, som lege og vitenskapsmann, sto frem og hevdet å ha vært fullt bevisst hele tiden, men til stede et helt annet sted.
It's like the blinders came off, and I emerged up into this brilliant ultra-real valley, far beyond description, a realm where you don't see with the eyes, you don't hear with the ears. At times you become the entire experience, you become other beings, you become perfectly empathic, fully feel their feelings, emotions, powerful feelings of the nature of our existence that were just overwhelming beyond description. We're all talking about the same place, the same realm, outside of physical reality, far grander and more real than this realm. I look at it more as Plato's world of forms, as the ideal world on which this is all derived. This kind of murky, pale, imperfect material realm we live in is really a reflection of that perfect, beautiful, ultra-real realm that so many visit and report on in near-death experiences. In fact, the same realm that's been talked about in the afterlife literature and in the writings of religious mystics and prophets for thousands of years. And it's all absolutely real. It's the source of our very consciousness. It's the source of our entire reality.
Flere sykehus I mange land har også I lengre tid drevet systematisk kartlegging av fenomenet.
Then in 1988 we started in Holland a prospective study in 10 Dutch hospitals with a total of 344 consecutive patients who survived cardiac arrest. And this study took about 4 years. And we found out, also to our surprise, that there were 18% of those patients, 62 had a near-death experience, had memories of the period of unconsciousness, and 82% did not. And there was no difference at all between those two groups. So the duration of